Darlene Hobach is a pioneer of sorts on the muddy waters of Keystone Lake. For 35 years, with her late husband and alone, she's come to know the particulars that unite wind and water and keel to create movement. And she has found her calling in sharing that wisdom with women, reinvigorating the women's sailing program at Windycrest Sailing Club when no one else would or could.
Well, I think women are highly competent sailors, and they just need to be exposed to the fact that they can learn how to sail.
Darlene knows all the secrets of this place, the challenges, and she has met them and made her peace with them. Yet there is one sailing goal unmet, one dream unfulfilled, one that Darlene has decided to tackle with those she trusts the most, a crew of women to challenge the sea and themselves. Their tropical dream unfolds on a bitter cold Tulsa night on the living room floor.
Where's Marsh Harbor? Okay, Elbow Key is where Hopetown is, so Marsh Harbor's there. Man of War's like right in here. Okay. It's on this one. It's right here.
The Bahamas look peaceful on paper, the ocean calm, the tides cooperative. There are so many things to plan for when none of them have been this way before.
Do that. I personally don't want to go to a place where we're the only ones there. I would rather at least have one or two other boats.
Skeeters and accountants. Laura and Joanne, school teachers. Carla's a court reporter. Betsy manages a chiropractic clinic. Aboard a sailboat to be skippered by Darlene. There are final lists of food and clothes to be taken along, sun and tide charts to double check. The trip has been more than a year in the making. Their excitement is boundless by this point, tempered by the unknown.
Wait a minute, where am I? I know, I'm going to be saying this all week. Where am I?
Over the Florida Straits, in fact, their destination 200 miles or so east of Miami. From the window of a commuter plane, the Atlantic is calm and cool, a topaz jewel so unlike the muddy brown of Oklahoma's inland oceans. Every grand excursion begins with a first step. After landing, for this group, those steps are through the aisles of the Golden Harvest Market in Marsh Harbor, the Bahamas, where they soon learn the pitfalls of island life, and peanut butter becomes the first casualty.
It's very expensive. Very expensive. $2.74 and $5.
It's 53 cents, 35 cents.
Stockpiling supplies for a week at sea means a two-cart excursion, chicken and asparagus and soda pop. The ladies soon pick up a grocery guide, a cab driver, we think, outfitted in pink, who together with a store manager steers them away from Bahamian beef and towards New Zealand butter.
This is what the boat is used here, and it has a very good shelf life, and it's real stuff. Yeah, we have people all the way from Canada to take it back home.
Is that
and
right?
the United States.
So you would recommend this for the bagels?
For the bagels and for the boat.
And?
It's
All right.
excellent for the
So
boat. You don't have to worry about refrigeration with this.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah.
This will be the hardest work of the day for the bright-eyed bag boys, as it has been for the Oklahomans, who must do without guava juice and cream cheese and peanut butter.
So we've modified our schedule a little bit, and we have a different menu.
It takes a few more hours to stow it all aboard the object of their desire. Anchored seductively on the edge of the ocean, it's a 37-foot twin-hulled catamaran. To the ladies, a dream come true. Owned by Tulsa doctor Joe McDonald, Darlene bid on and won, during a silent auction, the right to use Flat and Easy 2. Her winning bid going to the Multiple Sclerosis Society of Oklahoma.
Just be aware of the wind and the breeze.
Because it is different here than back home. That's the warning from Carolyn Watts, who checks the craft out to every new group of flatlanders who come to the islands.
To go into Treasure Key, there's a marked channel. Stay in the marked channel. All your instruments are up here. There's deep, there's shallow.
And this is a sandbank also?
Yeah, there's a little bit of a sandbank here. It's easy to get through. You can read the water. Be real easy with the toilet paper. You're going to need to give her a little gas. So you need to pull it out. Yeah, and just a little, not a lot.
All right.
An ocean voyage will be unlike any the women have taken before. They must know of navigation at hidden sandbars, unfamiliar winds and equipment. And they must know it well, because there will be no men to fall back on. They will succeed or fail on their own. That is their choosing.
There are just not many women who will go off on their own to take over a boat.
In Marsh Harbor, the Bahamas, Scott Thompson, the Oklahoma Traveler. The Atlantic Ocean promises endless days of sunshine, wrapped in trade winds and kissed by warm surf. But she's moody and can change quickly and severely. That's why, for 6 Tulsa women about to tackle the sea for the first time, a Marine Band radio offers more morning reassurance than a bottomless pot of coffee.
The satellite map this morning shows scattered cloudiness around the Abacos and extending scattered stuff through Nassau and Freeport and elsewhere.
Every morning, across this island commonwealth, the faceless voices fill slips and boat cabins with weather reports and gossip and advertisements for happy hours. And newcomers are asked to join in.
We are 6 female sailors from Tulsa, Oklahoma. We are chartering Flat and Easy 2, which is stationed in Marsh Harbor. And we have 2 gentlemen with CBS Sports with us doing a story on us.
That sounds right interesting. If you would admit that you're 6 females on a boat, I can guarantee you there will be a run over to Marsh Harbor. Very much.
Sure enough, in the short time it takes hormones to rev up their tiny engines, the first offer is tossed from some faraway dock.
Flat and Easy, can you make the rib night Wednesday?
Y'all are in deep trouble.
But romance is something they've not come here to find. Instead, the women have made a conscious decision to leave the men out. Rather, they are here to challenge the sea and themselves, to test their sailing mettle for the first time, together, on something bigger than Keystone Lake. Darlene Hobach is the organizer of this trip.
We just decided we could do it.
Reverse, please.
Slow.
But deciding to do something, and actually doing it, proves to be something entirely different, at least at first. Getting out of the slip is the initial challenge, yet Tulsa schoolteacher Laura Barnes finds it heady stuff.
First of all, this is the biggest boat I've ever sailed on, and being able to take the helm of the boat is just a thrill. It's a dream that I've always had, and my dreams finally come true.
Heading for the open sea, there is a sense of great joy aboard.
I love the tropics, and I love sailing, and it was just the chance of a lifetime.
But for schoolteacher Joanne Chandler and the others, there is also some anxiety of things unknown. This is not Keystone Lake, after all. It is a huge, unforgiving ocean with hidden rocks and sandbars and shallows and unfamiliar winds. All of it standing between where they are now and where they'd like to be. And it will take all 6 working as a team to make it happen. Sailing, done right, teaches that.
That's rewarding in itself, I think, to just be part of a team and watch everybody do and learn from your mistakes and learn from watching others do it.
I have total confidence in my crew members.
Joanne will have to find it in Skeeter Chilton, the accountant who doubles as navigator.
That white
thing over
Yeah.
there? Yeah.
Okay.
Not the white thing on the rock.
Right. the white thing out of the water. Yeah.
Skeeter's job used to call for a sextant and the North Star. Now she can use a satellite and a cursor to mark the boat's passage through the Atlantic. Still, high-tech can't spy every coral reef that waits to claim a craft.
No, you can't go out here.
I can't go through here, which I'm...
Okay, when you get to here, you will take a heading of 297.
Okay.
No, you're right.
Yeah.
When you get to this
I
point,
do have to heading of the 340. Keep on.
to 342.
See, that's what I'm on now. See, something's not quite right here.
You're headed for land
Oh,
now.
that's right.
Skeeter is the only woman aboard who came to sailing as a youngster and fears others who can't will be lost to the sport altogether.
And where to learn to sail. If you don't start sailing as a child and getting into junior programs, there's not a lot of programs for women.
Which is a shame, say these 6. From this ancient art, the hoisting of sail in the wind, they have found peace and contentment. It has helped lift them over life's rough spots and at crucial times restored confidence and self-esteem.
You just feel like there's nothing in the world that you can't conquer or do.
It's really hard to explain, but when it's quiet, you have the power. You can harness the power to do whatever you want.
Whoa!
And on this day at least, they have harnessed the wind. It has carried them to some place they've never been before today, as women and as friends.
Just the thrill of being free. It is a type of freedom, I believe. And we're out in the sunshine. It's healthful, beautiful surroundings, water that you won't see many other places like this. It's just grand.
Sailing in the Bahamas, Scott Thompson, the Oklahoma Traveler.
There's nothing in the world better than a good friend. They finish our sentences, laugh at our jokes, and are always there when we need them. At Keystone Lake, there's a group of friends just like that. Tonight, Oklahoma Traveler Scott Thompson sets sail with them.
They arrive for their rendezvous one at a time. So familiar is this routine, they could do it blindfolded. But then they would miss what they've spent a quarter century building. Friendship, wrapped in sailcloth and held aloft by a kind wind. On this morning, Jack Marcy helping Jim Esposito mend a hurting boat. That's what friends do.
If it wasn't for that, we wouldn't be out here. We have to help one another. A lot of times you can't do these together. I mean, you can't do it separately. You have to do it with somebody helping you.
They are past that stage in life when asking for help is seen as weakness. Rather, they celebrate it and all the other eccentricities they have earned in the course of good, long lives. And at least 3 days a week, if the weather allows, Jim joins Jack, who joins Gene, who joins Charlie.
During the wintertime, when the weather's real bad and we don't get to sail off, and we get sort of cabin fever and get anxious to get together.
And each friend helps the other put his little sailboat in Keystone Lake, helped along by Sheila, the lab, who lives across the way and swims over when she hears the fellas show up. This has been their routine for 25 years, give or take. Men who first met while building careers. Four who now have the luxury of time to enjoy a stiff autumn breeze and the splash of a muddy lake and each other.
Well, we certainly can rely on each other. That's probably the most important facet of it.
We're out here to smell the roses, and I'm sure that has a positive effect on feedback to the vital organs. I really do.
Just like if anybody says, let's go sailing, we go sailing.
Each man is in his 70s, and each has had heart surgery. Firm believers all that riding a breeze will keep the surgeon's knife at bay from this point on. To the uninitiated, their world seems one of sublime tranquility. But they test each other's mettle still, each fascinated by the physics that tie sail and water and wind into movement, with them in the middle of it. And more than 7 decades into life, it is still heady stuff.
It's how lucky you are at times. If you make the right decisions on the lake, and you're in the right place when the wind's blowing or the wind dies, you've lost it. And if you made the right decision and the wind picks up, then you do pretty good that day.
It's not dangerous, and it's highly technical, and I love it.
The day will glide past as they race around buoys and search for the edge that after all these years will find them ahead when the wind slips away. To be a friend is to be up to a challenge, to look across a bow and see in a familiar ruddy face something that gladdens the heart. A friend.
We all just love sailboats. As the English say, they love to mess about in sailboats. That's what it is.
On Keystone Lake, Scott Thompson, the Oklahoma Traveler.
We'll be out here, like right here in the middle of the cove.
And we'll see what we can do from there, see if the wind picks up a little bit.
You ready to go sailing?
Yeah.
4, 3, 2, 1, start!
Right now, 2052.
Just like anything else, the more you put in, the more you get out.
Just amazing what people will do just to make the club better.
Well, you can either sit at home or you can come out here and get some fresh air.
We have 2 young children. They probably play out here when we're out here at the different events, so it makes sense to be here.
You guys are having more fun on this end than the other guys on the other end.
Well, we're much harder workers.
We're more
Experienced. I can see it down on this end.
This is
It's a Masonic ritual.
What are you doing?
I'm cleaning it out probably so it'll stack right. I don't know why, but that's just what my dad told me to do.
You know, this is what they do in prison work camp.
How's the tractor?
Oh, it's great. I need one at home.
Having fun?
Oh, yeah. Lots of fun.
You in here for robbery?
Yeah, I'm doing 10 to 15 for robbery.
Bottom line is we're having fun, and we're going to end up with a pretty nice addition to the facility.
I didn't have to come out
What
here
did you
to
come
do
out here
that.
for?
I like to build walls.
That's a good reason, isn't it?
This is the frosting for the cake.
If you've had enough of record gas prices, try getting out from behind the wheel and have a seat under the sails. News on 6 reporter Jeffrey Smith has the latest on this sport's second wind.
Since they use wind as fuel, sailors are virtually unaffected by high gas prices. But there's a lot more behind the popularity of a sport affectionately called a chess match on water. In the war against high gas prices, the best weapon is an armada.
As people become affected by the gas prices, they'll start looking for alternative means of recreation. And I think our club will see a large growth.
Fighting fuel by taking to the water.
You can have a whole summer's worth of fun out here at Windycrest Sailing Club for what it would cost you to gas your boat up and ski for one day.
Oklahoma sailing is more popular than ever. The price of gas isn't taking the wind out of Oliver Seekin's sails. In fact, it's the opposite.
I see more of my friends wanting to get into sailing because they're sick of paying for gas on their Sea-Doos and motorboats.
The teenager's been sailing for 3 years, and as a member of the Windycrest Club out at Keystone Lake, he's gearing up for Sunday's big race.
It's just more than most other sports that I've done. It's physically and mentally challenging.
Seekins says it takes a day to learn, but a lifetime to master.
Anybody can go out there and sail, but to sail the course efficiently takes a lot more.
In the thick of the fight, Seekins is having the race of his life. For old and young, the sport's taking on a second wind. These sailors say now, more than ever, it's time to drop the wheel and pick up a rudder. Club members say sailing's a family-friendly sport. Windycrest has races twice a week, and they also offer summer classes for both adults and kids. Jeffrey Smith, the news on 6 Tonight.